FOMO has fully taken over the Pokemon hobby. Pokemon cards that were once affordable are exploding in price. And finding cards with popular Pokemon on them for under $20 seems impossible. Most recently, the Houndour illustration rare from Obsidian Flames jumped from being a $7 to $9 card to almost $30 within the span of a week. So the question remains, what cards will be next to go? In my most recent video, I told you that sealed ETB promos like the Snorlax from 151 might be the next ones to pop. Since making that video a week ago, that card is up 20%. And to be quite honest, it doesn't look like it's stopping. My name is Jack, you're watching JBTCG, and today we're going to count down 5 more Pokemon cards that could see a huge spike in price in the coming weeks. And if you comment your favorite card that I mentioned in this video, you'll be entered to win all 5 of these cards. I'll select one random winner that is subscribed and comments on the video. And with that all out of the way, let's get to the card that's in 5th place. Here we're going to start with the Arceus V promo card from the Arceus V figure collection. In my opinion, this is a top 3 Arceus card of all time, and I'm a big Sinnoh fan and Arceus fan, so that's high praise. I think the Arceus V-Star from Crown Zenith, that gold card, I think that one beats this out, but this is a close second. The landscape here is beautiful. You get Mount Coronet in the background with the swirling clouds. It looks amazing. You get the Bidoofs in the front, Beautiflies and Starlies flying around the Arceus. Everything about this card is pleasing, and honestly, for a price tag of $15 for a near mint copy, I think that's a steal. This card used to be dirt cheap, last month only going for around $5 to $7. It has since jumped up in price, and honestly, I think it's going to make another jump up in price in the coming weeks. Everyone is looking for cheap cards to add to their binder that have amazing art, and this fulfills all of those. It is amazing. Arceus is such a well-loved Pokemon, and the price tag of $15, it's fairly affordable. It's not dirt cheap, it's not a $5 illustration rare, but I think in 6 months we're going to look back at this price and think that it was a bargain. And personally, I'm actually a big fan of the sealed box that it comes in, the Arceus V figure collection. You get 2 Brilliant Stars packs, 1 Chilling Reign, and 1 Cosmic Eclipse, along with the figure and the promo card. Right now, they're going for around $50 to $60 on the secondary market, which isn't a bad price, especially considering the pack selection and the promo card you get there. And I'm not trying to pump up the products in my sealed collection because this is not for sale, but I figured I'd mention it to you guys if you're looking for a product that is really cool, displays really well, and isn't going to break your bank. All right, moving on to number 4. This is going to be the Timburr illustration rare from Twilight Masquerade. Right now, you can get this card in near mint condition for around $6 to $7, which is an absolute steal. Timburr, not the most well-loved Pokemon in the world, but I think people generally like Timburr, and I think people should really like this card. It incorporates Timburr as we know him holding his wood beam really well into the real world, where he's helping people build houses, and he's still holding his wood beam. The artwork and the perspective here is great. It almost looks like a 0.5 lens looking at Timburr, and he's absolutely the main focus of the card. And I think this card really encapsulates what people like about illustration rares all into one card. It takes Pokemon that we normally see as these fighting creatures battling it out to see who's the strongest into the real world, where they're not necessarily fighting, they're just hanging out, building houses, or in the Excadrill's case from Temporal Forces, helping people mine. This card right now is $6 to $7, and I would not be surprised if it jumps up to $20, even $25 by the end of the year. Now, quickly, we're going to look at the graph where we see the demand and the price here. So recently, it's seen a huge spike in price. Just a couple weeks ago, it was around a $4 card, and we've seen, I don't want to necessarily say a buyout, but a huge influx of demand where it jumped from 40 items sold to 100 items sold in the span of 2 days, and it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. Now, this card may plateau, it may drop off a little bit over time, but right now demand is influxing, and I think you can catch it before it goes big. I personally am going to buy a couple copies of this card because I want to get in on this before it becomes way too expensive and out of my price range. All right, moving on to number 3, and this is going to be a huge throwback, and it might be a card that you've never even seen before. We're going all the way back to X and Y with the Reshiram XY74 promo card. This card comes from the Pikachu EX Legendary Collection from Breakthrough, which right now is like a $1,500 collection box, which is absolutely insane. It's one of 6 promos that comes with this box, another 4 legendaries and 1 Pikachu, and this artwork is amazing. It's so dynamic. You can see Reshiram is fighting Zekrom in this picture. You only get a little bit of Zekrom's tail here with the lightning, but everything about this card is amazing. Right now in near mint condition, this card is around $15, which I think is a great price, especially with the rumored black and white set coming later this summer. We've already seen the Reshiram full art from Legendary Treasures jump from around a $25 card to a $40 card in the span of a couple weeks, and I think this one will be the next to go. And I think the fact that most people haven't heard about this card or haven't been alerted to its existence makes it a great buy right now, because the floor on this card is very weak. There are not that many copies in existence or on the market. And I'll show you the other promo cards that are very similar to this. Their prices are also similar. You'll see the Black Kyurem, which is what Reshiram is actually fighting. I said it was Zekrom earlier, but it's actually Black Kyurem. Kyurem, I say it either way. Let me know which is the actual way you say it, because I actually have no idea. But there's also a white Kyurem. There's a Zekrom, which I think is awesome. It also has a Palkia in the background, which connects to a Palkia card. I'll also have that one on screen, which also connects to a Latios. But there's also a Dialga and an Arceus. There's a ton of cool cards here. And if illustration rares and special illustration rares are just getting way too expensive, go back to X and Y, go back to Sword and Shield. These cards, their art, it's amazing, and their prices, not that high. Moving on to second place, here we have the Lumineon V from Crown Zenith. This is a beautiful card. Everything about this card is amazing. The artwork, the way Lumineon is framed, and it's kind of like circular glowing away from it. Such a beautiful card. And right now, you only have to pay around $13 to get it. And you see there's Chinchou, there's a lantern in here. There's a ton of little details in this card that just make it amazing, and nobody is talking about it right now. And I don't think it's going to stay a $13 card forever. This is another card with steady demand. Between 30 and 50 copies are selling every single day. And you can see it's made gradual gains in price over the past 3 months. In November, it was a $10 card, and today it's only $13. With a lot of other cards, we're seeing them spike, and we're catching them on their way up. This one, I think we can catch before it spikes. And to be quite honest with you, I think a lot of the cards from Crown Zenith are heavily undervalued. I mentioned the Arceus V Star last video, that's a $20 card, but there's a bunch of great cards in this set, both in the regular Galarian gallery as well as the special illustration rare or alt art portion of the gallery. And if you're looking to fill out binder pages, I would look at all of these cards. But we've spent enough time on number 2, we gotta move on to my first place pick, and this is the most expensive card on this list. It's the Hisuian Growlithe from Twilight Masquerade. I'm shocked that this is a $20 card. I think this card could easily be $40, $50, $60 even. It has pretty much everything going for it. It's a well-loved Pokemon. The artwork for it is great. The art style is unique, and to add another layer, it connects with a special illustration rare from the same set. Every single thing about this card is awesome, and I think it's a much better card than the Houndour illustration rare, which right now is like a $30 card. The Houndour being $30 while this Growlithe sits at $20 makes absolutely no sense to me, and I think a repricing will happen. And guess what? As we sit here together, this repricing is happening. This card is shooting up in price and is showing no signs of stopping. A month ago, this was a $10 card, and the momentum here is only going upwards. It does look like there was a potential buyout or hype period between February 1st and February 3rd, where we see a huge spike in demand and copies sold. It went up to 91 in the span of those 2 days. Since then, demand has dropped off at the higher price range between 35 and 25 copies sell per day. But guess what? Even with that lower demand, prices are still increasing. Frankly, as much as Twilight Masquerade was a hyped up set in 2024, I still think it's undervalued and underappreciated. Sure, the Eevee illustration rare has a lot of demand and hype around it, and that's a super expensive illustration rare, but cards like this Growlithe, cards like the Timburr, and cards like the Frostlass, which is another amazing illustration rare that you can get for under $10, are all super undervalued right now. Twilight Masquerade is extremely undervalued, and I can't wait to come back to this video in 3 to 4 months and check on the prices of all of these cards. And also, if you want to save even more money on these cards and these artworks, you can also buy them in Japanese. This Growlithe in Japanese is like $6 to $7. It's really hard to maintain a budget in the Pokemon space right now, and transitioning over to Japanese cards might be a good play. And I know you guys like saving money. I mean, that's why you clicked on a video about undervalued Pokemon cards. So I hope this video helped you save a couple bucks, or even helped you make a couple bucks on making some good plays on single cards. If you like content on the Pokemon market or Pokemon investing, drop a sub. We're almost to 2,000, and I'd really like if you were along for the ride. But that's all I got for today, so as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay safe out there.